Project Management South Asia Conference 2023 was inaugurated by Dr. Palanivel Thiagarajan, Minister of Information Technology and Digital Services, Government of Tamil Nadu. The chief guest was welcomed by Conference Chair and President PMI Chennai Chapter Parvez Alam. Chief guest Dr. Palanivel Thiagarajan spoke on how the role of project managers is critical in delivering crucial projects.
This skill of project management, this need for professionals who can help streamline, predict, project, and deliver close to projection will only keep on growing. And I hope that even as you do well and prosper, you will continue to keep that social responsibility in your mindset and continue to contribute to the greater good.
I'm very happy that for the first time the South Asian conference is being held in Chennai. Such conferences always have kind of a stimulative effect because not only is it an exchange of ideas but a connectivity of people and networks, and I think over time that will benefit us in many ways.
The conference was graced by the finest speakers from across the globe. Ike Nwankwo, Governance Committee Chair PMI, in his keynote address focused on how innovation happens because of qualified individuals. The topic of his address was powering the project economy, innovation in action.
We are all innovators, whatever you think. Everybody is responsible for innovation. But the key thing that people tend to forget is that collaboration is key. There's no single individual responsible for innovation. Everyone is, and we need to collaborate together to make innovation happen. So if you're in the project management profession or you're a project manager today, you're already an innovator. That innovation does not have to be about technology. Innovation, first of all, starts from here. The mindset, the idea, and then take it forward. Nandri.
The next session was on building sustainable and resilient businesses for the future by Kishore Jayaraman, President India and South Asia, Rolls-Royce. He also focused on the role of the project manager.
The project manager is one of those people that really connects everybody and everything together. Yeah. So it's a collaboration role. It's a role which requires a special set of skills. It's a role where you're dealing with the emotions of people based on what their bosses, their companies are demanding. It is a role which has to also deal with the personal lives of people because they have so many nuances that come into play during the course of the project. It is a role that involves somebody who has not only the intelligence quotient, but also has the emotional quotient. And I think IQ and EQ are absolutely essential to be a project manager. And the tools and the techniques that are being provided to this project manager are going to make the difference between success and failure.
The Journey Matters was the topic of the talk by Srimathi Shivshankar, Corporate VP and Business Head at Tech Services HCL Tech. She shared her way of looking at project managers. She also emphasized on how important certification is to measure competency.
Certifications are very necessary because end of the day you measure competencies through certification. And when I have 1,000 people, 1,000 project managers, and from there I want to pick the best, the certifications really matter.
Next up, Sandeep Kumar, founder and CEO of Product Dossier, spoke on building a culture of efficiency and profitable growth. At the conference, project professionals were assimilating knowledge from thought leaders from across the globe. R.K. Shenoy, Executive Leadership Team, Mobility Solutions, Bosch Global Software Technologies, spoke about his role of managing innovation the Bosch way. Sandeep Kochar, a storyteller, personal brand expert and certified leadership coach, focused on the art of storytelling. And Soumya Iyer, founder and CEO of Divio, shared her views on leadership in the time of artificial intelligence. PMI South Asia Awards, a recognition given to a leading professional organization for project management from the authority for a growing global community of project professionals who use project management skills. This was an occasion to celebrate and recognize excellence in project management. PMI has been conducting these prestigious awards since 2009 to recognize and reward milestones in project management and execution. The categories for these awards are Project of the Year Large, Project of the Year Medium, Project of the Year Small, Project of the Year Micro, Project of the Year Contribution to Community, and Project of the Year NGO.
Our very first category is the NGO category. And the winner is LV Prasad Eye Institute. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our next category of awards. Winner for the contribution to community category goes to Da Hook. Our next award category is Project of the Year, Micro, Northeast Frontier Railway. Our next award category is the Project of the Year, Small, and the winner is Bosch Automotive Electronics, India. Our next category of awards is the Project of the Year, Medium. The winner is Engineers India Limited. Our next award category is the Project of the Year, Large, and the winner is Teesta Solar Limited by Beximco Power Company Limited.
Welcome back to the 15th edition of Project Management South Asia Conference 2023. The two-day event saw a strong gathering of project professionals who eagerly listened in to the experts. Conference Director and Secretary, PMI Chennai Chapter, Vijay Narayan, welcomed all the attendees and set the stage for the second day. The first session of the day started on a high pitch with Dr. Srimati Kesan, founder and CEO of Space Kids India, who shared how she and her small kids were the world's first organization to send the lightest 3D printer and satellite into space.
This is the world's lightest and first ever 3D printed satellite that went up on NASA's Terrier Orion rocket. And the coolest thing is, it was all built by 17, 18-year-old children.
Dr. Srimati Kesan also focused on how challenging it is to work on a space mission and how small mistakes can create big issues.
Every time it's a new challenge, and doing something on Earth is different. You can get components, you can reach out to a person, you can reach a place, you can do everything, you can plan properly. But this is something beyond everything. So how much ever planning you do, how much ever meticulous you are, still something can go wrong at the nth hour. One small coding error, we had a great experience in our satellite, just an exclamation mark took us our life out for 3 days to find out what went wrong. So that way, it's very, very challenging, but yet, to keep that smile on and to say that, yes, we will move on is very important, because I work with adolescent kids. So to keep up to their emotions is very, very difficult. It's like a ECG graph. It goes up, it comes down, and you should be there. So I'm a mom, pull out that O, I'm a ma'am, So I need to do both roles simultaneously and need to know exactly when I have to do. That's very important. And how much subtle I can be is also important.
After an exhilarating session by Dr. Srimati Kesan, founder and director of Unbox Experience, Saveen Hegde shared his story on how he worked with various organizations to develop innovation fast. Namita Mishra, a senior consultant from ServiceNow, spoke about the importance of digital transformation. After Namita Mishra set the context of how digital transformation is taking place in the project management space, Kevin George, technology thought leader and global director, information services, Expeditors, shared the roadmap of what the future of project management with generative AI will be. Rajendran Dandapani of Zoho Corporation addressed the gathering on the topic Meaningful Productivity on the Edge of Chaos.
Generically, in the domain of project management, it's always been about people. And in spite of wave after wave of new technology coming in, at the end of the day, it is about how you relate to people, how you empathize with them, how you go beyond the call of duty to help them explore and probably bring out their true potential. Once you capture that, that's like capturing lightning in a bottle. But once you capture that, technology is always there to play second fiddle and help you cross the T's and dot the I's. That is what I look for from technology.
Two parallel tracks at the conference saw speakers share knowledge on technology and the human connection to stay competitive, technology and AI in wildlife science and conservation, what's the new EBITDA for leadership, from strategy to execution, the day in the life of a project manager with generative AI, PMIEF, leveraging technology, youth innovation and project management to create social impact, and Vision 2047, extended reality corridor and project. Dr. Aravindan Selvaraj, co-founder and executive director of Kaveri Hospital, shared his thoughts on how technology can help the healthcare sector grow and its impact on humankind. The last session at the conference was conducted by Lieutenant General Arun Anantanarayan. The session was titled The Power of Straight Lines and focused on how a project manager can be successful if he follows a straight line instead of shortcuts.
In any project that you do is you build a future. You should stop seeing it as a project, see it as building a future, somebody's future. You could be writing a textbook for class 8 physics. You could be constructing a bridge across a river. You could be constructing a skyscraper. You could be building a metro. If you think of yourself as building a metro, you're okay. If you think of building a fast, powerful, modern communication system in a city, you're probably slightly better. But I want you to get your entire team to believe that they are building the future. That is when their involvement into that project, and that is the art of project management.
Let's now listen in to a special fireside chat with Conference Chair and President PMI Chennai Chapter Parvez Alam and R.K. Shenoy of Bosch Global Software Technologies.
So it's not every day that we're joined by a pair of industry stalwarts from the project management profession. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Mr. Shenoy, I'll pose my first question to you. In the wake of emerging technologies in this day and age, how has the project management profession evolved over time in your view?
Over time, we have seen that the technology speed at which the penetration is happening is accelerating. On one side, it's about not just combining mechanical development, hardware, software, but also in software, usage of AI, usage of data analytics, etc. And these technologies combined with the way people develop software. After COVID, it has taught us that projects can be managed across the globe.
Sure.
People were working from their homes. Now, when we have distributed teams, the way of managing projects in distributed fashion, as well as hybrid mode. People are in office, some are at home, and this is a new skill that's needed. The third part is usage of technology in not just the products, but the way people develop the project management tools as well as engineering tools,
Absolutely.
which make them more efficient as well as much more robust when it goes into the market. This is something which project managers have to get used to, and that's what is evolving very fast.
As the head of the Chennai chapter for the Project Management Institute, you work with PMI members and project management professionals day in, day out. So give us your take on how the role has transformed, particularly in the aftermath of the pandemic.
So earlier we used to call that specialist, and we used to call generalist.
Right.
Now everyone is looking post-COVID generalized specialist. They want everyone to be all-rounder, right? It is demand is that because these things are so changing. In fact, we call this generalized specialist are required for uncertain. So if it is certain, yes, we can define the role. But if it is so uncertain, they are looking. That's how they are looking for a specialized combined generalist who will be capable to do anytime any sort of challenging requirements.
Now, Mr. Shenoy, India has of course blossomed into a bona fide innovation hub. I would love some real-world examples of how project managers at Bosch have leveraged innovation and have leveraged innovation in the context of the mobility solutions business in particular, which you of course spearhead.
The mobility is transforming in a big way. The main trends, we call it as PACE. That is basically personalization, automated, connected, and electrified. Each one of them is a big field by itself, and the technology is changing at a rapid pace. If we take one example of driver assistance or automated driving, here is where the automation is coming to a large extent, and a lot of computing power is coming into it. The amount of software that's needed to do automated driving is increasing.
Right.
Of course, we know that from level 1 to level 5, the amount of complexity increases, and the number of features that have been developed is also humongous. The second aspect is, while talking about project management, is the complexity of doing this development. The features are not going onto the road as individual features, but they're going at a overall, from a user perspective, they're going in a combined fashion, which means you need to plan the projects in such a way that they're timed such a way that they hit the road in the way they can be expected and integrated and used by the users, end users.
Right.
When you talk about end user, it is also about acceptance of these features. For example, when you go from level 1 to level 2, some of the automation happens in terms of driving on highways. And then you bring in slowly the features that are needed for doing automated driving onto the, say, roads on the cities, which is more of stop and go and features like that.
Sure.
And there we need to ensure that we give these as individual features, but as a user experience, so that the user starts behaving and starts giving more control to the vehicle itself. That's on one side. But the second is the way software has to be developed and released to the market. The features are not developed and released at one go. Normally the hardware is there in the car, but then you start delivering as individual features in incremental fashions, and the software is updated over the air. And that is when the development life cycles change. Earlier we were used to waterfall model, now we are talking about more on DevOps, which means continuously developing and releasing the software to the road. And that is where the project managers have to ensure that the planning is such that it fits this DevOps cycle. And every week or every month, the features are continuously going, and they have to be validated as well automatically. And these have to be factored when the project managers are talking about planning it for the road.
Coming to you now, Mr. Alam, can you walk me through how you believe that the Chennai chapter of PMI has helped contribute to the growth of the industry overall and the growth of this project manager community?
Yeah, I think Chennai chapter doing service of serving to the community and the members for the last 21 years. We have finished our 20th anniversary celebration last year.
Congratulations.
Primarily, we do a lot of knowledge sharing sessions and workshops, and of course training programs. PMP is our flagship certification, and so we do a lot of programs on this. Plus the upskilling, what we do is on the lot of the Chennai talked about the DevOps, and PMI has brought a disciplined agile concept. It's a toolkit which will enhance their agile projects and so on.
Right.
So these are some of the things we are doing. And we also started going ahead on the social projects, what we call PM for social good, and supporting project management as a life skill.
Right.
And started going and doing a lot of outreach activities in academia, especially in the schools and rural areas, and so on.
It's incredibly heartening to hear that, sir. And we applaud you for all of your efforts. All right, and you touched upon skills, and that makes for a wonderful segue into my next question, which is to you, Mr. Shenoy. And I'd love your take on what you consider, broadly speaking, to be the skill sets of the future. When it comes to project managers, what are those skills that will allow them to not just deliver, a value add, but essentially to create superior business outcomes?
I think Point number one is related to being more of entrepreneurs in their projects. They run their business. It's more like they're business owners of the project, not just from the budget of the project itself, but also to look at how they're able to ensure that the overall project at the end is able to hit the market at the right price point.
Sure.
So right from engineering part as well as when it goes into production, for example, when they release these products for production, to ensure that the supply chain, etc., is happening seamlessly. So that's a skill which is needed meanwhile, because we're talking about, in one side, the products which are hardbound, but in some cases where the software is becoming a major portion of it. And this software, like I mentioned, is getting released in series, after the product is in the market as well.
Right.
While doing it, you need to also look at second phase of it that's related to how do you business model this? When you release new features, how can you make it such a way that you can make, income or business out of it? So this is something mostly was looked at more as a business leader's activity, but now it's coming to a project manager who has to also think about it. The third but most complex is also working between silos. Earlier it was in given silo, you develop a controller, for example, for engine, or you do for a safety system. But now when you talk about working cross-domain, the solutioning is finally at a vehicle level. And there is where the project manager has to think through on how these programs can be interwoven, that at the end the features are reaching to the end customer, not from individual domain perspective, but at overall from the user perspective, how they're coming as features. This needs very complex project management, and also to ensure that these orchestrations are happening across domains and teams. So it is more, not in the silo method, but more working in a matrix teams, which has become extremely important. Last but not least is, like I mentioned, across the globe.
Right.
We need more global program managers who are able to manage with distributed teams. Working in hybrid mode, having teams not right in front of you, but spread somewhere, and delivering their value and ensuring that it hits a market on the defined timeline. So these are some skills which are very much needed at current times to make programs very much successful, and project managers also successful with that.
All right. Well, in order to make that vision a reality, Mr. Alam, what are some of the initiatives that you are personally championing with the Chennai chapter of the Project Management Institute? Tell us more about what's on offer in the future.
Yeah, one of the moment the moment I took over as a president, I said we should bring a lot of diversity and in the chapter, and then we onboard a lot of women volunteers.
Right.
And one of our flagship initiative called Women Empowering Committee, and they recently come up with an initiative called Greet and Meet for especially who has the break in their career.
Right.
Yeah, and then how to get engaged more, and then we started with the mentor-mentee programs and counseling them, and then they really feel that they have someone to hear, and then they even got a lot of jobs through that program. I think this is really, we have done a kind of a flagship for the women empowerment.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and adding such color to the conversation. You know, the range of depth, the range of breadth with which the project management function is evolving gives us a lot to look forward to. Thank you once again. We applaud you for all that you're doing for the industry at large. Thanks so much.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The 15th Project Management South Asia Conference 2023 was truly a celebration of the project management profession and a conduit for a vibrant community of professionals. It was an opportunity for the project management community to exchange information on best practices, latest trends and technology, and experience thought-provoking addresses by industry leaders from across domains. After a successful conference in Chennai, the baton was passed to PMI North India chapter. Project Management South Asia Conference next year will be held in Delhi.